there are two aspects to the GST. One is GST as a taxation regime, independent of anything else. In a tax regime like GST, any importing state will benefit. To the extent that J&K is an importing state, it gains to benefit financially from a tax regime of the kind of GST. Yet a state like Tamil Nadu, which is a manufacturing state, does not benefit from it, in fact loses from it, which is why Tamil Nadu opposed it. We don't have an issue with GST per se. What J&K has an issue with is that the current draft of GST legislation that has been circulated and has been put on website for now comments of stakeholders does not incorporate any safeguards to protect the special status of J&K. J&K, apart from other constitutional status, that special status, is the only state in the country that has the right to levy a tax on services. We are the only state. So our position is that we will not compromise our special position in the union as regards our powers to tax. Yet, we want to be within the ambit of the new regime which will benefit us. So we have to find a way in which we are a part of the GST regime, because if we are not a part of the GST regime, then we will lose enormously. We will get no tax revenue, we can't give any exemptions, we can't get any tax rebates, so our industry will be wiped out. So we have a situation where we have to participate, yet we have to participate on our own conditions, keeping in view our existing position. So in the Empowered Committee, I raised this issue that the current law does not provide any safeguards and we need to provide that. Now there are many options we can explore. One is that the extension is done by a presidential order which provides for these safeguards. Two is that when this GST law is made applicable, it will have to be approved by the state legislature, at which point we can do some amendments to it. And third, we have our own GST law, which is completely in line with the national GST, and act as agents of the government of India for collection and then pass it back what is their share in IGST. I have suggested to the Empowered Committee to form a small group, a subcommittee of the Empowered State Finance Committee, which will look at the issue of J&K before the GST law is finalized. So that is where. The other issue which I raised in the Empowered Finance Ministers Committee was that the GST Council, which has the mandate to approve or reject any changes in rates and all, should not be a prerequisite for application of GST to J&K. Because virtually, if you look at it closely, the GST Council overrides the state legislatures. Now this has been accepted by all states, but because J&K state legislature is the most empowered state legislature in the country, we have residuary powers vis-a-vis the parliament. Therefore, GST Council should not be made, should not be a prerequisite for GST in J&K. Both these issues were raised, and I am hopeful that they will be addressed when the final GST bill is passed by the parliament and then by the state legislature when it is applied, as and when it gets applied to J&K. It will be only after the state legislature passes. You see, GST issue has been going on for the last 14 years. When I took over, I tried to find out what is the position of the government. And it so happens, quite ironic as it might have been, that the chairman of the Empowered Committee was my predecessor, was Finance Minister of J&K. No records are available either in the Central Secretariat of the Empowered Committee or in our thing here as to what is the position beyond saying that protect our status. How it will be protected? There has been no modality which has been outlined by the state government. How should they proceed on it? Because we have to think for ourselves. Our status is under question. It would not be expected of the Empowered Committee to think so. So far, I don't think it has even gone to Cabinet earlier, but I will certainly take it to Cabinet, and as I said in the House today, that I will bring it to the state legislature also, because this is an important aspect which will change the entire nature of taxation in the country. It's important that J&K, which has under the J&K Sales Tax Act of 1962 the right to tax service, and we are taxing services, that it is approved by the Assembly in whatever form and modality that we work out.
Thank you.